KROQ, Klein, Alley Show. All right, so the two of you, I think it was Allie and Jake, were going over some questions yesterday after the show, and they were looking at me, pointing and laughing. And I don't know what this is in regards to, but they said we need a moment to explain why we think we have figured you out. So go ahead, have your moment.
Well, actually, it was Jake that passed on this article to me, which I thought was interesting because it is a list, and this is according to a lot of psychological experts, a list of things, of qualities that men possess who are deeply unhappy in their lives. And I looked through this list and I thought, wow, I actually think Klein has almost all of these 10 things. And I don't consider you to be a super unhappy guy, but when I looked through this list, I thought it'd be worth going over beat by beat.
Well, you guys think it's weird when I do things like I'll go to Disney and I'll try to be in and out in like 3 hours, and I won't go. I'd rather stay home than go out to shows and stuff. You always think that that's the sign of me being unhappy.
You mean number 2, isolation, and number 6, loss of interest?
Yep, I'll take a point on both those. I would agree.
All right, why don't we start with...
Start at the top. I will be honest. I'll be brutally honest. And you can go ahead and... If these are 10 things, 10 qualities that you possess if you are, according to psychologists, deeply unhappy.
Yeah, and feel free to chime in, Omar, if something stands out to you as
Sure.
Something specific.
I don't find myself to be deeply unhappy. Okay. I think that...
You're always complaining, dude.
Yeah.
Like, always.
Do you consider yourself to be a negative person?
No. I think I'm a
every
realist.
single morning there's something without fail. It's crazy.
I didn't even complain about the fact that our boss wanted to show us the fact that his bulldog went viral, and we had to sit and watch a TikTok video of his bulldog getting a stick stuck in his butt.
That was hilarious. Come on.
But I didn't complain.
Oh, I want to see that video.
It's awesome.
Was it the Chocolate Factory boss?
Chocolate Factory.
Chocolate Factory boss
Of
went
course it
viral on
was.
TikTok.
His dog's
Wow.
bulldog's blowing up.
I want to see bulldog butt.
I didn't complain.
And it's funny because it is kind of welcome to the Chocolate Factory adjacent.
Yeah, it's right there. The guy loves the Chocolate Factory.
All right.
Apparently, our boss is ass obsessed. And that, by the way, doesn't bother me at all.
He loves that butt.
Makes me happy.
So let's just start with the general lack of self-care. Says that
Lack
people...
of self-care.
Well, I think it was evidenced over the weekend when I saw you eat 2 full dinners in front of my eyes, not even 2 hours apart from one another, which was also bookended by excessive drinking.
Yes, that's to me the sign of happiness. That's me at my happiest.
Well, when you were not drinking at the beginning of the year, you said you felt a little happier. And now it seems like you're making up for lost time.
Yes.
And we had a situation where we were being given free food, and it was way too much food, and you looked at me and said, I will finish this. And I was like, okay, you don't have to.
platter of ribs.
And then we went out to dinner the following night, and I was like, all right, I'm so full, we gotta go. And you were like, no, I can finish it. Just give me another 10 minutes.
Yeah, just needed. I don't like to waste. I
was like, my God, you don't have to do this to yourself.
You remember the Native Americans would waste no part of the animal. If they killed a buffalo, they'd eat the meat. They'd make a rug out of the.
Look, I'm definitely of that camp. It's just in Vegas, when you're in a situation like that where you're just being given all you can eat at all times, you don't have to eat all of it.
But Klein, I think the more important factor here is after you do the deed and you eat all the food, are you overcome with self-hatred? Because I think that's what kind of in lies the problem here.
Well, the answer to the question is not immediately, but then upon watching all the videos you guys post on Instagram of me shoveling ribs down my face, then yes, and me double fisting pork rinds, then I start to regret my choices in life.
Neglecting your basic needs and not keeping up with personal hygiene is also part of that. All right, moving on to overworking.
Yeah, overworking. I work probably too much.
Who goes in on vacation days and decides, you know what, I'm just going to go into the office and get some work done and then send a bunch of work emails and make us all feel bad?
Yeah, well, because the show is never stops.
It does stop.
It does
you
stop.
always say it doesn't. It never stops.
Or
It does
talk
stop.
to the boss about, I would love to come in on Monday on a holiday.
Are
I
we
would love to do that.
Are we working on?
Love to be live.
Are we working
Gotta
on
be
Memorial?
live.
Yeah,
I would love to be live on Martin Luther King Day.
for
I'd rather be live.
But if it's a company holiday, I don't know.
All right, then we move on to increased sensitivity.
Are we working Memorial Day this year, guys? Yes or no?
No.
'Cause I think we
No.
should.
Well, I would love to do that.
But then if we criticize you, you're sensitive to criticism and you don't like negative feedback. So that's
Right.
another one. Check, check, check. Let's move on to irritability.
Who likes negative feedback? You say this like I'm crazy. I must hate myself.
Negative feedback is how I thrive, baby.
No, you don't thrive with negative feedback. Sometimes you say the most minor little response to something, and you're like, what? You get all like, what?
Look how well I handle negative feedback with all the long question BS and all the stupid things that I say and the things that I repeat when you already said them. But hey, I'm okay with my own flaws. Whereas you run into a door or a wall and you get very upset of all the songs that we write about you.
Great.
It's hard for you to take it.
So that means I hate myself.
No, it doesn't mean you hate yourself. It just means you might be a little unhappy. If you were happier with your life, maybe you would be able to take it in stride and laugh it off.
All right, give me what are we up to now? I've already lost count.
Well, with where you're at in your reaction, I would go with irritability next.
Yep, beautifully said.
Loss of interest in the things that most people enjoy. So
Well,
you don't
he
really
loses
like
interest
things.
in stuff like he doesn't even try them. He's like over it. The
Yeah.
biggest thing I could think of is like, the biggest thing we could have done is the pickleball team. And he lost interest in that so quickly. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? We should totally do this. He's
Right.
like,
Things that
done."
seem appealing to some would be burdensome to this person.
Well, that's usually how I feel about going to like festivals or whatever.
Even with our
concerts.
music video, you're like, nah, I
Well,
can take the canyon.
It was Malibu.
All right.
I didn't want to drive. I didn't
It's
want
like
to
I'm
drive.
not going to try and drag you
Allie,
there.
listen, going to a $20 million house in Malibu could sound fun to some
It
people.
was fun.
I looked at it and I go, dude, that traffic back is going to be just atrocious.
I know,
I'm
and it
not-
was, but who cares?
I wasn't going to do it. And I don't regret that decision. After watching that music video, I don't regret my decision even a little bit. A little bit.
Disturbed sleep patterns.
Oh, yeah, but that's
People
this
who are
job.
deeply unhappy may experience changes in their sleep
Sure, but
patterns,
that's
trouble
everyone.
falling asleep,
Right,
waking
yeah.
up frequently,
Yes.
or sleeping too much.
Right.
Then we go to excessive humor.
I haven't done anything funny in years. I'm trying.
No, but you attempt to be funny about every single thing. I don't think I've ever seen you take anything seriously.
Humor is often a sign of happiness and contentment, but sometimes it can also be a mask for deep-seated unhappiness.
Okay, well, we
It's
found.
impossible to have a serious conversation with Klein.
Or
Yep.
just a normal elevator ride where no one talks.
All right. Duly noted.
Then finally, emotional withdrawal, overcompensation, and isolation. Isolation is another behavior where people who are deeply unhappy often display without realizing it. And you say, I like knowing there's a lot of things to do out there and knowing I would rather just sit on my couch alone and watch a TV show.
Now that sounds great. That makes me happy. Is that on there?
No, that's not on there.
I know you're thinking, man, those two look funny.
And we agree, and so do our parents.
So we need to get some plastic surgery, and the only way we can afford that is if you listen to our full radio show every day live on KROQ or download the podcast.
Yeah, which is all free, so I don't really know how we're making money on that, because
We're
we get
not.
paid terribly.
Yeah, it's a really bad situation, which is why she's got on no makeup, and I'm wearing a shirt that I found in Lost and Found.
I am wearing makeup.
You are?
Yes.